You learned the hard way that loyalty looks beautiful from a distance and brutal up close. Think about the nights you stayed on the phone until 3 a.m., talking someone out of ending it. The money you lent and never mentioned again. The way you stood next to people when they were humiliated, broke, or hated, thinking, at least they know I'm here. You were there when they had nothing. But when it was your turn to fall, to lose, to break, suddenly the room got quiet. The same people who swore, I'd never leave you, went missing, went neutral, or watched from a comfortable distance. That's when you start asking the wrong question. Why does this always happen to me? The truth is darker and colder. Most people aren't loyal to you. They're loyal to their needs, to how you make them feel, to what you give them, to what standing next to you does for their image. When the benefit is high, the love feels deep. When the benefit changes, their loyalty dissolves like mist. There are two versions of loyalty you've experienced without having the words for it. Loyal by heart, the rare kind rooted in who you are. And loyal by benefit, the common kind rooted in what you provide. The problem is you've been treating both as the same, investing your soul into people who only invested their convenience. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago. He wrote that men are more guided by their interests than their promises. They swear devotion with their mouths, but their feet always move toward advantage. Betrayal almost never arrives suddenly. It starts as hesitation, weak excuses, slower replies, new friends, different energy in their eyes. Tiny fractures that you feel but ignore because you want the story of loyalty more than you want the truth. Most people live and die calling themselves unlucky, when in reality, they just never learned to read the signs. This video is the line where that ends for you. Once you see these patterns, you won't be able to unsee them. And after that, staying blind to who really stands with you and who's just standing near you for now becomes a choice, not a fate. This is not about hating everyone. It's about finally seeing clearly so you can protect yourself with intelligence instead of hope. Blind faith brought you here. Sharp awareness is what takes you out. Once you see how fragile most loyalty really is, there's a danger waiting for you on the other side. You can easily swing from blind trust to pure paranoia. One version of you hears this and decides, everyone is a snake. I'll trust no one. I'll move through life bitter and alone. That's the wounded mind talking, the mind that confuses realism with hatred. The Machiavellian, sovereign mind thinks differently. Most people are self-interested. That's not evil, that's human. I will act accordingly. One path turns you into a closed, suspicious ghost. The other turns you into a calm strategist. I'm not showing you these signs so you can preemptively betray people, run tests on everyone, or play games with good hearts. I'm showing you so you stop handing out unlimited access to people who've never earned it. A wise ruler, as thinkers like Machiavelli observed, assumes human nature is flawed, but he still builds alliances. He just builds them with his eyes open, never staking his entire kingdom on someone whose loyalty has never been tested. That's what you are doing here, learning to protect your time, trust, and energy without poisoning your soul. You can still value loyalty deeply. You can still love fiercely. You simply stop giving your full loyalty to people just because they say the right words or share your blood. If you reject this realism, you default back into being easy to use in the name of having a good heart. But if you accept it, you gain something rare, a power without losing your decency. Very few people hold both. Now that the foundation is set, we can get practical. You need a filter, a way to read behavior and decide who belongs close and who should never be allowed near your inner circle again. You can't afford to guess about loyalty anymore. You need a filter. Think of something I call the Machiavellian loyalty filter, a mental model you run people through before you hand them power over your life. It has three lenses: motive, pressure, and cost. Motive asks, why are you really here? Pressure asks, what happens to you when things get hard? Cost asks, what have you actually sacrificed to stand beside me? Every sign we're about to cover exposes one of those answers. The first red flag is status-dependent loyalty. They're loyal to your shine, not your soul, close when you're winning, distant when you stumble. Second, pressure, fragile loyalty. They vanish, hesitate, or quietly shift away the moment there is heat, risk, or inconvenience. Third, performance loyalty. Big words, small effort, dramatic promises with no follow-through. Fourth, neutrality in conflict. When you're attacked or disrespected, they stay out of it to protect their own image while you stand alone. Fifth, escape route loyalty. They always keep a back door and backup alliances in case standing with you stops paying. Sixth, anti-growth loyalty. Your evolution makes them sarcastic or cold because your strength exposes their stagnation. Seventh, cost-free loyalty. They speak like soldiers, but have never paid even a real-world price to support you. This isn't about obsessively tracking people or becoming paranoid. It's about calmly reading behavior the way a strategist reads a battlefield, accepting that self-interest rules most hearts. Machiavellian thinkers don't sit around hoping not to be betrayed. They anticipate betrayal through patterns. Seeing even one of these signs clearly could save you years of emotional and financial damage. So we begin with the trap that fools almost everyone. The kind of loyalty that shines brightest when you're on top, then rots the fastest when life finally hits back. The easiest loyalty to fake is the kind that stands beside you when you're shining. When money is decent, your confidence is high, and your name carries some weight, you'll notice certain people start orbiting closer. They laugh louder at your jokes than they deserve. They post you, tag you, brag about knowing you. They want to be seen with you at parties, in photos, in public rooms, because standing next to you reflects well on them. As long as you're rising, they're right there. But watch what happens when life hits you in the mouth. You lose a job. Your business stumbles. Your relationship falls apart. Your reputation takes a hit. Suddenly, their energy shifts. Replies get slower. Invites get fewer. Their tone cools. Where before they were always down for whatever, now they're busy, tired, or stressed. The same people who once fought to be near you become strangely distant. like your struggle is contagious. That's your first clue. These people were never loyal to your character. They were loyal to the benefits of being near your image. In Machiavellian terms, they are followers of advantage, not followers of you. Think of that friend who always wants to be seen with you when you're doing well, but disappears when you're broke, embarrassed, or starting over from zero. Or the colleague who loudly champions you when your project is winning, yet barely acknowledges you when it fails and the room turns cold. Machiavelli observed that men are moved more by what they gain than by gratitude, and these people prove it. Key tells are simple. They brag about knowing you, but don't show up quietly when it costs them time, comfort, or reputation. They use your shine as currency, but your darkness as distance. The strategic move here is not to explode, chase, or beg. You simply downgrade their access. You stop planning your future on the assumption they'll be in it. You classify them correctly, not enemies, but fans, opportunists, background characters. Respect what they've revealed, because real loyalty is measured not by who stands closest when you're admired, but by who remains when standing next to you no longer pays. You see them clearly only when real pressure hits. Everything easy hides their true alignment from you. Loyalty that only exists on sunny days is not loyalty. It's atmosphere. Pressure, fragile loyalty is the kind that looks solid when life is smooth, then quietly shatters the moment things get uncomfortable. These are the people who are always around for fun, for wins, for selfies and celebrations, but turn vague, hesitant, or invisible as soon as there is conflict, controversy, or risk attached to your name. When someone criticizes you publicly, a loyal friend who used to comment on every post suddenly goes silent. When you face legal trouble, family chaos, or financial collapse, the partner who swore, "We're a team," starts picking fights, going distant, or talking about needing space. On the days your team is winning, that coworker is the loudest voice in the room. The moment the group is attacked or blamed, they fade to the back, eyes on the floor, mouth shut. Machiavelli suggested that a ruler only truly knows his men when danger appears. Comfort hides character. Pressure exposes it. Watch the behavioral cues. Replies that used to come in minutes now take days, if they come at all. Invitations dry up. They don't repost you, tag you, or stand next to you when your reputation is under fire. They frame it as not wanting drama, but the truth is simpler. They value their own comfort and image more than they value standing with you. In their private calculus, your bond is not worth the potential cost. Here is the mindset shift. Untested loyalty should be treated as neutral, not trusted. Just because someone has never abandoned you doesn't mean they want. It might just mean they've never had to choose. But once pressure hits and they do abandon you, that data is permanent. You don't need a screaming match or a dramatic confrontation. You simply recategorize them. Fair, weather ally, low risk access. No confidential information. The most devastating betrayals always come from people you thought would hold the line when it mattered. Start using pressure as a quiet test, and you'll clean half your inner circle without saying a single angry word. And If you pay close attention, you'll notice many people reveal this weakness even earlier, in how loudly they speak of loyalty compared to how quietly they show up when it counts. You've met this one 1,000 times. The person whose mouth is a warrior and whose actions are on permanent vacation. They're always saying, "I'd do anything for you. You know I've always got your back. You're like family to me." It sounds comforting. It lowers your guard. It makes you believe you have a soldier beside you. But the second you ask for something concrete, they evaporate into excuses, delays, or convenient emergencies. This is performance loyalty. Loyalty acted out on stage, never delivered behind closed doors. Think about the friend who never misses a chance to hype you up in public, commenting, posting, praising. But when you need a ride to the airport at 5 a.m. or help moving boxes in the rain, suddenly they're crazy busy, or they forget to reply. Or the partner who breaks your trust, cries, swears they'll change, gives big speeches about how much you mean to them. Then 2 weeks later, every pattern is exactly the same. Dramatic language is their favorite tool because it costs them nothing. Big promises create emotional safety for you, while demanding zero sacrifice from them. Machiavelli would say that men make vows according to the advantage of the moment, not the pain of the future. In other words, they promise when it benefits them, then forget when it doesn't. You must train yourself to treat words as hypotheses and behavior as proof. Stop being impressed by what people say they'll do, and start quietly tracking what they actually do without being pushed. Who shows up? Who follows through? Who remembers without reminders? You don't need to argue with performers about their broken promises. Arguing just feeds their drama. Simply stop accepting their words as currency. Nod, observe, and downgrade their status in your mind. In the world of power, effort is the only real language of loyalty. Once you start measuring people by energy invested, rather than emotion expressed, your social world will look very different. And you'll begin to notice another kind of disloyalty, the kind that doesn't shout lies, but hides behind silence when your name is on the line. That silence is not neutral, it is a choice, and it reveals who will let you burn quietly, just to keep their own image untouched in this world. The most dangerous betrayal often doesn't come from the one who swings first. It comes from the one who stands there and watches. When people insult you, misrepresent you, or quietly try to undermine you, a truly loyal person may not be perfect, but they don't pretend to be blind. They speak up, they correct the lie, or at the very least they make it clear. They don't sign the disrespect. False loyalists play a different game. They enjoy the benefits of being connected to you when things are good. But the second there is smoke around your name, they retreat to the safest position in the rooms. I don't want drama. I don't want to get involved. They disguise cowardice as maturity. Picture your coworkers hearing a rumor about you at the office. They know it's distorted, but say nothing because they're scared of losing proximity to the people spreading it. Or a group chat where your name is dragged, and the person who laughs with you every day suddenly goes silent, scrolling past as if they saw nothing, or a partner who lets their family disrespect you at the dinner table, then tells you later, "I didn't want to make it worse." In Machiavellian terms, alliances are not proven in calm rooms, but in hostile ones. When a little risk appears, you see who was merely friendly and who was actually aligned. You are not demanding that people throw fists for you or start wars on your behalf. But when it costs them almost nothing to say, "That's not accurate," or "Don't talk about him like that," and they still stay silent, you've just seen the value they place on you. Neutrality in open disrespect is not neutral. It is quiet approval. Once you recognize this, you stop overestimating these people. You lower your expectations, keep your secrets and long-term plans away from them, and redirect your real loyalty toward those who step forward instead of stepping aside. Most will realize that some of the people closest to them would watch them burn if it meant keeping everyone else warm. And that realization forces you to look at how those same people keep their options open behind your back. Those escape routes are not accidental, they are preparation. Some people don't betray you in a moment, they plan their exit in slow motion. Escape route loyalty is when someone enjoys your access, information, and benefits, but never locks the door behind them. They stay close enough to eat at your table, but far enough to slip away the moment the fire starts. After seeing their silence in conflict, pay attention to how carefully they hedge. They maintain warm ties with people who openly dislike you, just in case. They never close old situations. They keep backup friendships, backup alliances, and backup narratives that allow them to flip the story when it serves them. Think of the friend who calls you brother, but still regularly laughs and interacts with people who undermine you, or the partner who insists you're their world, yet keeps exes emotionally nearby, messaging, liking, checking in, preserving emotional doors they could walk through if things get hard with you. Or the business contact who happily picks your brain for insight, talks strategy with you, then quietly collaborates with your competitor in the same breath. In Machiavellian terms, a prudent strategist never puts his security in hands already half turned away. Hands that won't fully grip you will eventually let you fall. Their tells are subtle but consistent. Vague language about commitment, reluctance to define the relationship, resistance to being seen publicly aligned with you in risky moments, and an odd loyalty to relationships that clearly position them on both sides of the fence. Understand this. People who keep escape routes are already considering escape. You don't need to hold a trial or demand declarations. Instead, you quietly treat them as temporary allies. You limit what they know, what they access, and what they can damage if they decide to retell the story later in their favor. When they finally leave or flip, you are not devastated, only confirmed. The blind are shocked by these exits. The strategic simply nod. And there is an even deeper test than where they stand physically. Watch how they respond when you start growing, enforcing standards, and refusing to stay in the smaller version of yourself that once kept them comfortable and in control. Their reaction to your rise will tell you if they loved you or only loved your weakness before. Some people were only ever loyal to your weaker self. As long as you stayed in the box they built for you, less confident, less ambitious, more available to their needs. They were comfortable, supportive, even proud to stand beside you. The moment you start stepping out of that box, their mask slips. You hit the gym and your body changes. Suddenly the jokes start. Relax, bro. Who are you trying to impress? You improve your money, your skills, your focus, and now your drive is called obsession. Or you're acting different. You stop tolerating disrespect, and overnight you're labeled arrogant, selfish, or cold. That's not random. This is anti-growth loyalty. They were loyal to the version of you that needed them, deferred to them, and never forced them to confront their own stagnation. Your evolution is a mirror, and they hate what it reflects back at them. In psychology and power, growth always shifts the balance. When you were insecure, they could comfort you or control you. When you had no boundaries, they could lean on you endlessly. When you thought small, your dreams never threatened their laziness. But as you become stronger, their subtle power over you starts to die. That's why the teasing cuts deeper, why the sarcasm gets sharper, why they keep telling you, you've changed, like it's a crime instead of a compliment. Machiavelli would say those who benefit from your weakness will quietly resist your strength. They might frame it as concerned. I just don't want you to get disappointed. Or humor. Look at Mr. Motivated now. But underneath, they are trying to pull you back into the version of you that served them best. Strategically, you don't need to convince or explain. You simply use their reaction as a diagnostic tool. Real allies may feel challenged by your growth, but they adjust and respect it. False loyalists cling to the old you, guilt trip the new you, and punish any sign of independence. Ignore this sign, and you stay trapped in environments that punish evolution and reward submission. Surrounded by people who would rather keep you small than lose their comfort. And that leads to the final, cruel measure of loyalty. Who has ever paid a real price to stand beside you when it actually cost them something important in life? At the end of the day, loyalty that never bleeds for you is just decoration. Liking you, laughing with you, hanging out, or enjoying your success is not proof of anything. The real question is brutal and simple. Has this person ever taken a hit for me? Have they ever given up time, comfort, reputation, or advantage to stand beside me when it actually cost them something? Think about the difference between the friend who came to see you when you were broke, sick, or humiliated, who drove across town late at night, who helped you move, who defended you when nobody else would, versus the one who is always around when it's fun and easy, but mysteriously busy when you're at your worst. Or the colleague who corrected a lie about you in a meeting, knowing it might cost them favor with the boss. That single act says more than 1,000 "I got you, bro" texts. Machiavelli would tell you that devotion without sacrifice is just performance. Something people wear when it benefits them and drop when it doesn't. You are not entitled to anyone's sacrifice, but if someone claims deep, lifelong loyalty, and has never once been even slightly inconvenienced on your behalf, you should take their words as branding, not reality. Cost-free loyalty is loyalty that has never been tested, and what has never been tested cannot be trusted in war. Strategically, your move is not to demand people prove themselves with grand gestures. Life will bring enough natural tests on its own. Your job is to quietly observe who absorbs a little discomfort to back you, and who always chooses the smoothest path for themselves, even if it means leaving you exposed. The ones who consistently choose comfort over you belong in the outer layers of your life: social, casual, limited access. Your true inner circle is reserved for the very few whose actions under cost have already spoken. When you recalibrate your standards here, your circle will shrink, sometimes dramatically, but your safety, clarity, and power will multiply. And once you see who's real and who's convenient, the next move is no longer about them. It's about you becoming the kind of man who selects loyalty like a ruler, not like a beggar hoping someone will stay. You've just walked through the 7 masks that false loyalty wears, and now you stand at a fork that most men never see. One path is the old you chasing approval, mistaking proximity for loyalty, calling it bad luck every time you're betrayed. The other path is the sovereign mind, the loyalty architect, the man who doesn't beg for loyalty, but filters it. In this new identity, you no longer confuse status chasers, comfort-only allies, loud performers, neutral cowards, escapee route keepers, anti-growth anchors, and cost-free fans with real allies. You see patterns instead of taking everything personally. When people shift, you don't collapse, you classify. You are not becoming heartless. You are becoming precise. You are moving from emotional to strategic, from obedient to sovereign. Sovereign men don't need a huge crowd. They need a clear circle. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, pick one sign and actively audit your circle through that lens. Maybe you track who goes silent in conflict, who jokes about your growth, or who only shows up when you're shining. Write it down. Names, moments, patterns. Or choose one relationship where multiple signs are obvious and quietly downgrade that person's access without drama, without speeches, just new boundaries. Watch how much mental space you reclaim. Machiavelli hinted that the man who governs himself with care will not be destroyed by the carelessness of others. That becomes your standard from now on. You govern who gets close. You govern how much of yourself you give. You govern how many chances someone receives before distance replaces discussion. Most will hear all of this and drift back into their old habits, surrounding themselves with people who would never bleed for them. A few will act. Those few will become harder to manipulate, harder to break, and over time, impossible to ignore. If this hit you, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who is too loyal for their own good. Then, mark your decision in the comments with this affirmation: my loyalty is earned, not assumed. That sentence is the first real boundary between the life that broke you and the life where you finally choose who earns access. Start now, before comfort pulls you back asleep. Before you disappear back into your own war. Lock this mindset in with your words. Type it, see it, repeat it until it becomes your default setting. In the comments, choose one of these and make it yours. My loyalty is earned, not assumed. I trust slowly. I observe deeply. My silence is my shield. I refuse to bleed the unworthy. I choose self-respect over blind loyalty. I see the difference between allies and opportunists. My circle is small, but it is real. Don't just scroll past this part. This is where you stop being a passive listener and start becoming the sovereign mind you've been hearing about. If you're done being used in the name of loyalty, drop this line exactly. I choose self-respect over blind loyalty. If one of the 7 signs hit you like a punch to the chest, tell me in the comments which sign it was and who came to mind when you heard it. And if this video finally explained why people kept vanishing the moment you actually needed them, write this: I see the game now. That's your first public declaration that the old version of you, the one that trusted too fast, forgave too easily, and ignored every red flag, is gone.